Did you know that this Buddhist monk claimed to be 163 years old? Today we'll show you the 10 oldest people in the world. We'll explore their lives as super-centenarians and uncover the secrets that helped them live through so many different eras marked by monumental cultural and technological changes. Let's watch it. It's fascinating. Luang Pho Yai. He was a Thai Buddhist monk who became a sensation on TikTok when several viral videos suggested he was 163 years old. Although it was later confirmed that his actual age was 109, this revelation did not lessen the fascination of users. His extraordinary longevity sparked thousands of amazed and humorous comments, with some saying he had lived through all the world's wars, others joking that his memories were in black and white, or that he was alive when history was divided between BC and AD. Born in 1912, he witnessed events that defined modern history. Shortly after his birth, he lived through World War I. During his adulthood, he experienced the Japanese invasion of Thailand during World War II, and later lived through the constant nuclear threat of the Cold War. His life spanned more than a century of social transformations, global conflicts, and unimaginable technological changes. Despite the curiosity and jokes surrounding him, many saw him as a true sage, a source of deep wisdom on life and Buddhism. Throughout his existence, he symbolized calm amidst the chaos of the modern world. He passed away on March 22, 2022 at 6:40 p.m., leaving behind a spiritual legacy that transcends borders and continues to inspire generations beyond his time in this world. John Tinniswood. Born on August 26, 1912, in Liverpool, England, this man was much more than a mere witness to history. Throughout his supercentenarian life, he navigated the most crucial moments of the 20th and 21st centuries with remarkable serenity and vitality. From his youth, he saw the impact of 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and the rapid advancement of technology, from the first automobiles to the age of the internet. John worked as a civil servant and later as an administrator in the shipping industry, a vital sector in an island nation like England. During World War II, his administrative work helped keep the country's trade routes running, a time when every supply meant survival. What was most impressive about his life wasn't just his longevity, but the clarity of mind and enthusiasm he maintained until his final days. At 100, he still enjoyed reading, walking, and followed politics and sports, with a special interest in his favorite team, Liverpool FC. On August 29, he reached 112 years, making him one of the longest-lived people in British history, and currently holding the record as the world's oldest living man. He's often asked about the secret to his longevity, and his simple answer is that it's all about leading a calm life, enjoying each day, and never being ruled by stress. Kane Tanaka. Born on January 2, 1903 in Fukuoka, Japan, Kane lived through a time when her country was undergoing major changes, such as the transition from an agricultural society to one of the world's leading industrial powers. Born prematurely in an era with limited access to medical resources, her determination helped her overcome numerous adversities. At 19, she married Hideo Tanaka and began working at the family noodle shop. The couple had 4 children and adopted a niece, forming a large family. When Hideo was sent to the front lines during the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, Kane took over the business. Her ability to adapt in times of crisis was exemplary, and after the war, she continued working at the shop until she was 63. During this time, she also converted to Christianity, influenced by missionaries who came with the American Army. Although she stopped working daily, she remained involved in the family business until she was 103. Interestingly, she always maintained a balanced diet, but she didn't hide her love for sodas and chocolate, 2 small pleasures she enjoyed with joy. When asked about the secret to her longevity, she credited discipline. Her day began at 6 a.m., dedicating time to studying math, practicing calligraphy, and enjoying board games and walks around the nursing home where she lived. Kane Tanaka passed away on April 19, 2022, at 119 years and 107 days old, leaving behind a legacy of perseverance, adaptation, and joy in life's small pleasures. Lucille Randon, the nun better known as Sister Andre, not only held the record as the world's oldest person at 118, but her story is also a testament to resilience and service. Lucille was born on February 11, 1904, in Alès, southern France, as part of a set of twins. However, her twin sister Lydie died at 18 months, and Lucille herself was close to death but recovered against all odds. Although raised in a Protestant family, at 27 she converted to Catholicism, and at 40 she decided to dedicate her life to God by joining the Sisters of St. Vincent de Paul, taking the name Sister Andre in honor of her older brother. During World War II, she cared for children amidst the adversity and worked as a governess for the Peugeot family, one of France's most influential families due to their role in the Peugeot car manufacturing business. After the war, she dedicated 28 years of her life to caring for orphans and the elderly in a hospital in Vichy, and spent the next 30 years working in a nursing home. When asked about the secret to her longevity, Sister Andre explained that perhaps God gave her the years that her twin sister never lived. Her strength was once again demonstrated on January 16, 2022, when she tested positive for COVID-19 and recovered without major complications, aside from mild fatigue. A month later, she celebrated her birthday surrounded by countless admirers and passed away from this world on January 17, 2023, at 118 years and 340 days old. Grace Jones. Born on December 7, 1899, Queen Victoria was still on the throne, horse-drawn carriages roamed the streets, and Great Britain was still the largest empire in history. Over her extraordinary life, which spanned 113 years, Grace set the record as the oldest person in her country and was the last Briton born in the 19th century. Her life journey saw enormous transformations as she witnessed both world wars, technological revolutions, and unimaginable cultural changes. At 17, she experienced the devastation of World War I. At that time, she was engaged to Albert Rees, but her fiancé fell in battle, cutting their future together short. After this loss, she rejected several marriage proposals and devoted her life to caring for her sick mother and siblings. Most of her life was spent in Bermondsey, southeast London, working as a seamstress and in a biscuit factory. During World War II, she joined the war effort working for the British government. After several decades of work, she retired in the early 1960s, unaware that she still had many years to live. Despite living more than a century, Grace always maintained her independence and lived alone in her apartment until her final days. A woman firm in her habits, she attributed her longevity to avoiding frozen foods and choosing good English cooking. She passed away on June 7, 2019, at 112 years and 264 days old. Bob Wheaton. Born on March 29, 1908, in Kingston upon Hull, in the north of England, Bob's life spanned over a century of historic moments and extraordinary experiences. Some of his earliest memories include the fear instilled by German Zeppelin bombers during World War I and contracting the mumps at the age of 5. Despite the financial hardships of the time, his father paid an extra £3 per term so that Bob could stay in school until he was 16, when he graduated with a specialization in shipbuilding. In search of new opportunities, he moved to Taiwan in 1933 to teach English, and in 1937, he married a British woman living in Hong Kong. However, his return to England was interrupted by World War II, forcing the young family to temporarily relocate to Canada. In 1946, Bob, his wife, and their 3 children were able to return to their homeland. He dedicated the rest of his professional career to teaching naval engineering at the City University of London, where he influenced countless generations of students. After retiring in 1973, he moved to Hampshire and lived independently until he was 111 years old, dedicating his later years to charitable causes. Bob passed away on May 28, 2020, surrounded by his 10 grandchildren and 25 great-grandchildren at the impressive age of 112 years and 60 days, leaving behind a legacy of learning and resilience in the face of adversity. Gladys Hooper. Born on January 18, 1903 in London, a city just beginning to transform with the technological advances brought about by the Industrial Revolution, Gladys experienced some extraordinary moments as a child, including meeting the famous inventor Thomas Edison. During World War I, She witnessed the first air battles when British planes defended London's skies from the terrifying attacks by German Zeppelins. Fate led her to marry Leslie Hooper, a pilot in the Royal Flying Corps who fought in the conflict. Together, they had a son, Derek, who inherited his father's passion for the skies and also became a pilot. In addition to her family life, she had a brilliant career as a pianist, performing for some of the most prominent bands of the time. In 1977, she faced the loss of her husband due to Parkinson's disease. 2 years later, she decided to move to the Isle of Wight to be closer to her family. Despite the challenges and complications that come with aging, she lived independently until she was 101, when she moved in with her son, Derek. Gladys passed away surrounded by her loved ones on July 9, 2016, at the age of 113 years and 173 days, having witnessed some of the greatest events that shaped humanity across 2 centuries. Tekla Junjević. Tekla was born on June 10, 1906, in the small village of Krupsko, which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the time, and is now in Ukraine. Her childhood was marked by pain, as she lost her mother during World War I. After this tragic event, she returned to Poland, her family's homeland. On February 28, 1927, she married Jan Junjević, and they had 2 daughters in 1928 and 1929. Shortly after, the family moved to Borislaw, where she worked in a clay mine, demonstrating her determination and strength during difficult times. Her 53-year marriage ended with the death of her husband in 1980 at the age of 96. This loss made her think that her own time might be short, but little did she know that fate had other plans, making her a supercentenarian. Undeterred by her advanced age, she lived alone until she was 103, when her grandson Adam moved in to assist her with daily activities. In 2019, she celebrated her 113th birthday and received a visit from Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, who came to honor her extraordinary life and legacy. Tekla not only became the oldest person in Polish history, but at the time of her death on August 19, 2022, at the age of 116 years and 70 days, she was among the oldest people ever. Susanna Mushat Jones. Born in Alabama in 1899, Susanna grew up in an environment still bearing the scars of the Civil War. As a child, she listened to stories from her grandparents, who lived through the brutal reality of slavery and the discrimination they faced throughout their lives. As a young woman, Susanna followed the family tradition of working the land, but the harshness of rural life wasn't the future she envisioned for herself. With incredible determination, she graduated from high school and dreamed of attending Tuskegee University, but a lack of financial resources forced her to abandon that dream. Determined to change her destiny, she moved to New York in 1923, where she worked as a nanny for several wealthy families. In the Big Apple, not only did she build a new life for herself, but she also helped her family escape the segregated South and settle in the city, becoming a pillar of her community. Throughout her life, Susanna enjoyed good health and required little medication, taking only some blood pressure pills and multivitamins. What stood out most was her unwavering love for bacon, which she included in her daily breakfasts. Although she was married for a time, she never had children, but she was an aunt to over 100 nephews and nieces who stayed by her side until her death on May 12, 2016, at the age of 116 years and 311 days. Richard Overton. Until his death on December 27, 2018, Richard Overton was the oldest surviving World War II veteran, having reached the impressive age of 112 years and 230 days. Born in 1906, during a time when the world was markedly different, the automobile, airplanes, and telephones were just beginning to change everyday life, and the path to modernity was still being charted. In 1940, he enlisted in the Army. The following year, with the United States entering World War II, he served in decisive battles in Hawaii, the Marshall Islands, Guam, and Palau, miraculously surviving Japanese attacks. After returning home to Texas, he worked as a messenger for the Treasury Department and built a house in Austin, where he would live for the rest of his life. As a descendant of slaves, Richard faced a life marked by discrimination. However, his optimism always set him apart, and rather than focusing on the difficulties, he preferred to highlight the good moments. He would joke that the secret to his longevity was pairing coffee with whiskey and his daily routine of smoking 12 Tampa Sweet cigars. He never missed a bowl of buttered pecan ice cream for dinner, and when he turned 112, he humorously claimed that he felt no pain in his body. Richard Overton lived his life without restrictions, enjoying every small pleasure until the end. His story is a powerful lesson in overcoming adversity, reminding us that even in the face of difficulties, optimism and joy can be the keys to a fulfilling life. Now tell me, would you like to live over 100 years? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Here are two options that you'll surely love.